doing, everyone? So this is my second attempt at making this video. I started to take out my camera and it just kept filling up the memory card. And I had to keep stopping and restarting, and it made all these jumps in the film, and it just didn't look very good. So I decided to redo it. I guess it's Sunday morning now. It's pretty late, which is why I look terrible. I got home from work like 3 hours ago. Haven't showered yet, sorry. But here's my review of the Ben Nye Grand Lumiere eyeshadow palette, which is here. So I guess it was a bit more than a year ago now. I was working on a production of Taming of the Shrew by William Shakespeare that was set in the 80s. So the theater group I was working with called me in to be the makeup artist and hairstylist for the play, which I thought was going to be really fun, and it was. Because, as most of you should know, styles in the 80s were really, really bright, and like big pops of color, lots of crazy eyeshadow, tons of blush, big hair, just lots of fun stuff. So I knew this was going to be fun from the start, but it was also going to be a really, really big challenge. Because if any of you have ever worked in theater before, you know that makeup just washes out incredibly under those big stage lights. Something that looks fantastic under normal light can look like absolutely nothing under like stage lights. So they gave me a budget of about $150, which for 9 actors was not that much. But it worked out in the end. But so I knew it was going to be a big challenge just finding enough stuff and enough product and something that would have a really good payout on stage for so little money. So I looked around. I went to Makeup Alley and to timtalia.com and a makeup and beauty blog, to lots of other sites, Spectra, which is a Mac devoted forum, and just looked up as much as I could for stage makeup, for heavily pigmented makeup, for cheap makeup, all that stuff. But I could never find one product or line that just combined all those needs. And so I was getting really frustrated. It was getting pretty close to production dates. And I started just searching for stage makeup online, which I knew I was going to get a ton of stuff, and especially MAC, because MAC is actually stage makeup. So I waded through tons and tons of pages and finally came upon this site called International Fun Shop. And opening it for the first time, it was kind of scary. It looked like the first project someone in web design school does with no guidance and no help, just to basically see what they already know. It's really terrible. But I was like, you know what, I'm desperate. I'm just going to look. Maybe something will be there. So I went to the makeup section, and all the makeup was mostly by Mayron and Ben Nye, neither of which at that point I had heard of. So I started going through it. I went down to the eyeshadow section, and I saw this line called the Ben Nye Grand Lumiere. I think I pronounced that right. Lumiere. Someone tell me in the comments. I don't know. I went into it and looked at the colors, and the colors looked amazing. They weren't actual swatches, but they were just like little pictures of the actual color. And they were bright and vibrant and sparkly and just amazing looking. And so I was like, huh, this looks really good. And I looked at the prices, and it said $6. And I was like, okay, something's wrong here. So I went up to Makeup Alley and typed in Ben Nye Grand Lumiere, and the reviews were amazing. They were mostly 4s and 5s, and the actual like average review was like a 4.7, 4.8, which is amazing. That like never happens on Makeup Alley, not even for a lot of MAC stuff. So I was like, okay, for this little money, I can give it a shot. This whole palette here, which has 12 colors, $60. That's incredible. These eyeshadows are bigger than MAC shadows. I'm going to show you in a minute. And I was just like, all right, something's probably wrong here. The site is probably either like a fake or something. But I typed in Ben Nye into Google, and this was the only site that I could find really that looked the most reputable of all of them. Some of them were even worse. So I was like, all right, it's not my money. I'll give it a shot. So I ordered it. It came really, really quickly, probably within 4 or 5 days. Just basic boxing, lots of little like packaging materials and a receipt. I know some of these companies sometimes give you free samples, but this one didn't, which was fine. And I opened it up, and I didn't really want to play with them until I actually got to the theater, because some stuff that can look amazing in day-to-day wear can just be completely washed out and terrible for stage, and vice versa. So I brought it to the theater. I had them go on stage to start acting. I sat in like the 4th or the 5th row, did full lights, everything, and I started watching. And from there, I could see distinctly what each color of the eyeshadow was. I could see the light glinting off of it. It was amazing. This pigment is like incredible. Since then, I ordered the palette for myself because the theater company kept it. Obviously, I mean, they paid for it, so they kind of got to. But I bought the palette for myself. It's such an amazing deal. I just figured I had to have it for my own kit. And I played around with it in day-to-day wear, for photo shoots, stuff like that. Day-to-day, some of the stuff is a bit intense, but it's easily sheared down if you don't get a ton of pigment on your brush. And it's absolutely gorgeous. The staying power is amazing. I mean, I've had friends wear this for 12 hours and still be as vibrant as it was when I first put it on them. And this is without primer. With primer, it's like 10 times even better. The color is like, just like bam, with primer. And for those of you that care, I use a Too Faced Shadow Insurance for primer. I mean, I've had friends go to sleep in this, which I know is really bad. I always tell them not to. But they've woken up with it, and it's been almost as good as when I put it on. Maybe a bit smudged. Some of them said they had to clean up the edges a bit with like a Q-tip. But then they said they've been able to go out again with it without me having to reapply, without them having to do anything to it, and it still looks just as amazing. Which is incredible. For $6 shadows that are bigger than MAC shadows. MAC shadows run about 1.5 grams for $14.50. And these are, I don't know the exact size, but they're probably like 1.5 times the size of a MAC shadow at least, and they're $6 each. And if you buy them in palette, which is 12 for 60, they're $5 each. That's even better. That's incredible. So I've decided to split this review into 3 sections. I'm just going to do the 4 shadows as they come next to each other in each video, because each of the shadows is really distinct, and I want to spend enough time on each one and give you guys a really fair review of it. Tell you what I think of each one, what I use each one for, how often I use each one. I'm going to be posting swatches of each of the ones I review each day on my blog, which you can find the link to down in the comment bar. And please visit that. So I'm going to do swatches of them, wet and dry, so you can see both of those, because they are really different each way. And I guess that's it. So go take a look at those, and I guess we'll get started.